to Day 3 of Game Changers Championship 2024. And if you're just tuning in, hey, Zeta Division gets their first win on an international stage. Can we just celebrate that just for a few seconds?
We have to. And the interview that we just had that was
so Serena was so precious.
They were celebrating. Like, of course, we are sad to have to say goodbye to a team, especially under the circumstances that they were on today. But the way that the momentum shifted into Zeta's favor, and as Jinsa said, how can you not love this team?
Yeah, it really is remarkable. Even just that storyline, and it was Yinsu that caught it down there on the stage, that Serena sat on that stage, that she grinded out the aim training, and then, wow, the second map, the difference from first to second, the fact that it was the best sunset she's ever played as well. It really is just an example that hard work pays off, and I couldn't be happier for Zeta. This is a much deserved and long-awaited victory.
Oh yes,
it happens tomorrow.
Definitely, definitely. And I think we can expect more comebacks too, because we are going to get into our second elimination match of the day, right? But before anything else, GCC is the perfect time to join the community and say goodbye to the days of solo queue. All you need to do is scan the QR code on the screen to join the LFG Discord and find your future squad mates. Hey, if you want to get in on a few groups, build a great community, check out the VALORANT server, which is exclusively for women and non-binary players. This is our space, and this is a safe space as well for you to find your squad. So get in on that. And before the tournament, actually, we got to talk to a lot of players too. And I think two of the most interesting players that we had, because they have such a long relationship together, was Smurfette and Ness. And I'm really excited to see this one because we got to test them on their knowledge on each other too. So let's check out this quick video on that.
I am delighted to be joined by Ness and Smurfette from Giant X. Now, you guys are one of the longest standing duos we have in all of Valorant, but I wanted to test how good friends you guys really are. How well do you really know each other? You guys think you can pass this test?
I don't think so.
That's the spirit. We're going to start with a very easy question then. So I want you to write the answers on your whiteboard and then show the camera once you're done. And you're going to know this, so this is more of a test for you, Ness.
Okay.
What was the name of Smurfette's first team in Valorant? I hope you know this. Yeah.
Smurfs?
Yeah, Smurf's first team.
I think I know.
Yeah, write it down. If you think you know, write it down. Okay, I'm going to let you show it to the camera because this is going to be the answer. It is indeed Project X. Now, did you write down Project X?
Oh, nice.
Easy, you know each other. You know each other.
Because I was beating her.
Yeah. Do you want to? What was the next team that Smurf was on? Do you want to name it?
No.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna have to make this a bit more difficult. Next question is: how many officials have you two played together as a duo?
I'm just gonna like.
Yeah, give a guess. Give a guess. I'll give it to like.
No, that might be too much.
Give it to
Is it like matches?
Like not maps, like actual, series.
Oh.
In an official. Because you just wrote down 700. I'm gonna tell you it was not. Yeah, take it. Official matches.
I don't know. I'm just gonna write something random.
Okay, I'll show it to the camera together at the same time. So we have 150 and 70. You're closer. The 70 is closer. It's actually 89. So your next game, your game against MIBR will be your 90th official together.
Oh,
we're getting to 100.
Damn.
We're getting closer.
Okay.
Now here we go. See how well you know Ness. What is Ness's Twitter name? Like her Twitter handle. I hope you know this.
Wait.
I don't even know. How would she know?
I don't remember the.
Try your best. Try your best. Try your best. Okay. There's a lot of Smurf is cooking. Smurf is cooking over here. Okay, I'm gonna let you.
I think I just.
You nearly.
Okay. Okay. I just thought. Okay. Let's put it like this. Okay.
Yes.
You also had it the first time, and you erased it the first time around. It was kind of correct.
Okay.
All right.
I'm winning, yeah.
This next one is a very important one. I think this is going to be the one to really test your friendship. How many cats does Smurf have, and what are their names?
Oh, that's.
Oh, Ness is straight in there.
Oh, she knows.
She knows? Okay, I feel like this is the one. This is the one. Okay, wow. Okay, can you confirm? Is this correct?
Yeah.
Whoa! Okay. Can you name my cats?
Karma.
Karma and wait,
I don't know the other one.
you got one more.
Yeah, I have a new cat. It's okay.
Okay.
Boaster named him. We don't, you know, it was
Maybe
not the
Boaster.
best name. Yeah, Mob.
Mob.
The
Wait,
anime
I didn't know that.
Boaster.
Okay.
But you guys know Karma. I love
Yeah,
it.
of course.
The last question. I'm gonna start with you, Ness, first. If you were not a Valorant pro player, what would you be? What would you be doing? So I want you to guess what Ness is gonna
I
write.
don't know. I have too many things.
You can write maybe two. I'll let you write like
But
two.
you told me before.
Oh, she's told you this before.
Wait, when did I tell you?
Maybe Smurf knows you better than you know yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
You always told me about this.
Okay, I'm gonna let you show the camera first then.
Or
Okay, well let's see what you wrote.
No, but
went with-
you said if I have good voice, you would be singing.
oh, but I don't have it.
Yeah, but still.
But I don't have it. That's not
You always have
us.
it.
That's not us.
That's true, but believe in yourself, you never know. And that's it. It turns out you guys know each other pretty well. So let's do this again next year and see if you get to know each other a bit better. How do we feel about that?
Oh, I hope we do better next year.
I think we did pretty good.
All right, we will see that. We'll see that for next time.
That is adorable, and you can just see how these girls know each other so well. But I think a partnership like that is what really makes Giant X such a powerful team to, you know, be up against, because you have that partnership between Smurfette and Ness, but it's not just them. It's this whole team sharing that kind of friendship.
Yeah, and I feel like they've been through the ups, through the downs, and a lot, and especially the match that they had the other day. Definitely, like, it was a test, but again, even if we can make excuses for them, we need to see something different. We need to see the Giant X that again has been through the ups and the downs, and we need to see the Smurfette that we know we need her back.
Yeah, oh no, 100%. I mean, when you look within EMEA, where these girls will be playing for most of the year, Rescue gets a lot of respect, a lot of praise, and this squad flew over to Turkey to take on G2. It was not pretty in the sense that it was 3-1. They did take a map, but what was definitive was that Smurfette was diffing Rescue. When they came head-to-head, when those battles went down, it was Smurfette that was coming out ahead more often than not. Only problem was Rescue could find the rest of her teammates.
Yeah, that was such an exciting head-to-head, by the way. That was definitely a matchup to look out for. So I am wondering, right, because that Smurfette didn't exactly come out in their first match, right? Are we going to see that today is a big question, but I do want to give a shout out to Miyori as well, who is able to step up on the Cypher role.
Yeah, especially on that first map when Pearl started, right, coming up into this map, a lot of questions, maybe not a lot of time to prac, and I feel like Miyori had a very difficult task ahead because right off the bat, right off the pistol round, we saw how MIBR was working around the map, how their pace was extremely fast, and she was, you know, the one having to stop them and having to be careful and having to actually have her utility have a lot of impact, and she was doing it time and time again. Again, it didn't end up being pretty. They didn't end up losing that 0-2, but there was some glimmers of what can happen. I also think that MIBR had what a game. Like, Jelly,
Oh, yeah.
That was disgusting.
I mean, definitely on Sunset. Look at that first map again, though, and you see the GX lost both pistols. You go down 4-0, and it's, what, 13-10 in the end? Damn close game. So definitely, this was somewhere that could have at least went to 3 maps, and sure, the second map wasn't quite as dominant, but how many times have we seen that where a team gets smashed on a map, comes back, and they actually play a really good game on the third?
Well, we don't need to see just Miyori step up this time around, right? We need everybody to step up. But speaking of Miyori, Yinsu caught up with her ahead of today's match. Let's see what she has to say.
I'm now standing by with Miyori here from Giant X. Now, you guys love to be in the lower bracket, that lower bracket run. So what have you learned from the previous times you've been there to make sure you can make it all the way to the grand finals again this time?
We are a lower bracket because we wanna beat every team. That's why.
Okay, I love that answer. Thank you very much for joining me. I can't wait to see it.
Well, that is a definitive promise. You gotta love that confidence. Well, we're just gonna beat every single team. Can they beat ALG, though, which will be their opponents for this matchup? ALG also kind of had the same story. They had a really rough opening match against Falcons Vega, right? For today's match, though, they are making a change. There is yet another emergency substitute coming in. Shimilu will be subbing in for 1HP, who unfortunately 1HP is not feeling well. How is this going to affect them?
I mean, probably massively, because we've heard in the past that it's 1HP who is translating in most of these scenarios to keep up, you know, all of the communication. At the end of the day, there is, in the base game, there's only so much that you need to say. It's more on the deeper plan and on the macro understanding of everything that we're going to be able to see the difference. But Shimilu is not someone that is completely unbeknownst to what is going to happen today.
Yeah, and I think just to build on that, you know, the fact that you have one player who's IGLing, speaking a language that only one other player understands, you're going to have to go to that baseline of, and we were speaking about it behind the scenes, that Miki, you said sometimes they're speaking in English, and again, there can be miscommunication issues, there can be a lag, you know, if you're in your mother tongue, it's going to be much quicker to get that info out there. And now add to that the sub is coming in. Someone's going to have to take that role. We'll go to a mid-ground language. We're going to have to figure out all the flow of the game with all of those restrictions. This is a really tough game for ALG, and they don't have a baseline to build on for most maps because they only played 3 maps before this event. So it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow.
They're a very, very young roster.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's basically an understatement because of all the rosters that we have here at GCC, I think they basically only played just the last few months together, right? It's a massive adjustment. So it's going to be a tall order for this team, this roster. And on the side, of course, of Giant X, they need that revenge arc coming up for them, right? They need to make that lower bracket run, and as Miyori said, to be able to win everything. And that was a big promise indeed. So we're going to see if that comes through. But we are going to send it down to the stage and bring out our teams. We're going to see Giant X and ALG. Who do you guys got? We're going to find out who takes it. All right, folks, it appears as though we're experiencing a very, very short delay, but that gives us a bit more time to talk about... I thought they ran out really quickly. Like, you didn't see it. You didn't see it, but it was like they were super fast.
I must have blinked for a really long time. The copium's catching up to me, but okay, that makes sense.
I love how you was like, oh, I didn't realize that. Thanks for informing me, Mika. No, but talking about these teams, right? It's we've been seeing a lot of last-minute changes here for these teams, and for ALG, it's a big question mark on them because they're already a roster that's dealing with a lot of obstacles here.
Yes.
Very inexperienced together as a team, right? But you do have, for example, Ginny and Muffin that have been here before, and you even have, Shimilu. She has competed with EDG as well in the previous years.
But again, thinking about what they said in the press conference after their game, they were surprised of the level that the other teams were bringing onto the stage. Yes, we talk about the inexperience and maybe not having those many reps or maybe those many maps that we have seen in officials, and they were genuinely surprised and struggling a lot. Even their coach was saying it, like the level was way above what he was expecting to see.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up because especially since, ALG, they are dealing with a lot of things that might be unfamiliar to them, especially since they haven't played a lot of games together and they're dealing with so many different teams that have so many different strats. Like, for example, Mitch, they did have a lot of trouble dealing with a deadlock on split.
Yeah, and I think, well, a lot of trouble indeed. They won a pistol round in the second half. They won the follow-up round. They got 2 rounds that map. It was no rounds on the attack side, 12 in a row for their opponents. And look, it's a tough comp to play against. It's a map that they hadn't played up until then. That is the only map of split that they've got on record. And that's obviously going to cause a lot of issues. I think when you come into a tournament with less than 15 maps played, and that's across less than half of the maps that are available to your opponents to pick, well, we'll say they've been kind of lucky with the way map vetoes have gone so far. Teams have been kind of happy to play into their hand a little bit. Lucky they've only had the split to deal with.
Yeah, of course, like the first map, like your first pick, is going to be there. But the chances of you go into a map that you haven't played yet, are exponentially high. You know, of course, and I think that especially that composition and the way that it ran, not only having the deadlock, but having the Euro, to me, it's not only the fact that the composition is a bit wacky, or it's that, you know, it was the first time that we saw that composition, or that the map is new for them, because at the end of the day, it is split, okay? It's not, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but it is the fact that they were going up against the same issue round after round on B Heaven, and they were not finding a solution for it. And having given Falcons in that instance a flawless half, it also has some mental baggage, and you have like, I've tried, and I think that I've tried everything that I could, and I wasn't able to get through this chokehold.
No, yeah, they had a lot of trouble adjusting, right? Especially to Madvi's deadlock, which was like incredible, by the way. They kept running into her setup, like you mentioned, Bea, on B Heaven, right? And we're seeing that right now.
And of course, the utility is going to be there, and Madvi did an amazing job in having always the same sensor and using the GravNet to slow them down. And we could see ALG, again, this, even though if it's just an example, happened time and time again. The refacts, the escalating utility, adapting also the barrier mesh at the beginning of the round, using it differently. Madvi did give an amazing show and of what you can do with the deadlock here. And if also you add up onto that Mary's there with the Euro, very quick rotation, she can always be there to support her, we can understand that a team like ALG is going to struggle against these things. Because regionally, as we're saying, 3 maps, but also the agents that they play, they don't go up against the ISOs, against the deadlocks, you know, they're obviously going to be seen here.
Yeah, they don't get that kind of competition a lot, right? But I want to, you know, I want to talk about Giant X just a little bit more too, because, for example, you know, we did have, unfortunately, a lackluster, you know, performance from them last time, right? What are you expecting from them this time around? And what do you expect for all of these players? What is that next step for them?
Well, looking back at the regular season, this isn't a team that we expect to consistently underperform. They always get back on their feet. You take a loss and you learn from it. I think that's exactly what we'll see here today. GX, we talk about the level that ALG have been up against. Well, I think it's only going to go up. Now you've got someone like Smurfette out to get you, and the rest of the roster feeling activated. And one of the biggest challenges, probably the biggest challenge that they faced so far, is right in front of them.
I have to say also that there was also a recurrent theme that we saw throughout EMEA, and it's that Giant X, if you take it pound for pound, like the players are great, we've seen them for a very long time. The throw-in advantages time and time again. The other day we saw it in Sunset. They weren't able to convert most of the 5v4s. Like the numbers, I think that they converted 2 out of 7. And when you're not even able to transfer the rounds where you had a plan, it worked. You got on that first pick, but the response from the team is already faster. It puts you in a very difficult situation, and that has to be one of the main turning points today.
Yeah, those are one of the things that we will be looking for on the side of Giant X, right? There's a lot to look for both of these teams, actually. Unfortunately, now we can send it to the stage, and we can look forward to these teams making that comeback, doing that revenge arc for themselves as well. You mentioned it too, Mitch, that, you know, the biggest opponent is right in front of them for Giant X, but that's also the case for ALG, especially since...
Another upset?
Hey,
Zeta did it. I don't see why ALG can't.
We had it just a while ago. Why not? We're going to send it to the stage and bring out, once again, our teams, Giant X and ALG. match of the day, and another team will be going home. Will it be Giant X, or will the home crowd cheers carry them through? Or for the sole representatives from VCTC, and will the ambition of ALG pull through this time around? Big questions on the line, big stakes for both teams. It's the turning point for both of them. As we go into our map beating, Veto, we're seeing Haven, we're seeing Ascent, and potentially Pearl.
I mean, it's definitely going to be new maps for the side of ALG. That Ascent is going to be definitely very interesting because I have the same feeling with Split. It's not like it's a new map or that it's been gone for a very long time. Ascent has always been there for some reason, but I want to see what this Haven is going to bring because Giant X is one of the two teams in this competition that run the double controller on this map, or that we could expect them to.
Considering the fact that we end up with Ascent and Pearl afterwards, and those are maps that ALG have not played so far, this is definitely going to need to be a map victory off the bat for ALG. Also, GX have lost 13-7, 13-8 to G2 and Falcons respectively. Those are big teams. I don't know if ALG will be able to match up. Then you add to that the IGL having to communicate in English, where you've got 1 HP out of the roster for now, unwell. These are big issues for ALG to combat today.
As we step into our agent select, as we can see, we are seeing Smurfette on that Yoru, and I'm very excited to see this, especially since she has been very vocal about how much she loves Yoru. And I believe there was an interview where Smurfette said specifically she does it to annoy Cyphers. So suddenly, it's throwing it back to ALG and looking at Lain over there, who is on that Cypher.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we want to see the performance from Shimilu, right? To see how it's going to go overall. This composition from Giant X started off, we tested it against G2 goes in that one time. We know that we can excel with it. So, of course, we're looking at that combo between Ness and Smurfette that we were seeing on the screen to also be present in the server.
No matter what, I think GX are taking this series. The question is 2-0 or 2-1. And ALG, well, they get to answer that in the first map. Haven has to be theirs to take home if they have any chance of winning this series.
And we know that these players are capable of, just wiping the slate clean and starting as if this is the first match that they're going to play, especially since you have Ginny, you have Muffin here, who have been on this stage before. Back in Pacific, they know they are such menaces to everybody. Now that they are here representing, the Chinese region, they are part of that firepower that really makes ALG special, but it's Giant X once again. It's that home crowd. I kind of feel like, as they were walking out, they're definitely thinking that okay, we're coming in very, very confident and very calm too.
And they're no strangers to having a lower bracket run, but of course it has to start. They need to get a good feeling of this stage if they want to progress, if they want to keep fighting, because Matvi and Mary were the two biggest menaces and were upsetting ALG constantly. Now I feel like we're looking at Smurfette a lot.
Well, we're definitely going to look at her and the rest of these players on stage. We're going to send it over to your casters. And these two, by the way, live for tech pauses. Here's Pansy and Fodder.
How's she done that?
That's crazy. You start with that after the delay already. Fingers crossed that gets it all out of the way so we can focus on this fantastic matchup. Potter, looking at these two, they having to come back in off of the back of some pretty harsh losses, refocus, get back into things, looking at the veto as well, some familiar scenes. That's got to be hard to shake off right now, coming into this very high value game.
Absolutely, and I think the key word, you said it, Lauren, is refocus. Both squads got to come in and have a nice reset. We are on elimination day. I'm looking straight at Muffin. This player has had a spectacular performance online thus far. We've gotten the jitters out of the way. It's second day, and they are on the attack side. Good shock darts to try to find some of that KJ utility early.
Ooh, I like this little stun potentially off of the contact, but Smurfette's really managed to filter through. Muffin, though, you said the name, and she's already getting a name up in lights. On the board, good start here. You want to see them be confident on the beginning, because they had a really hard beginning game. So already that C site is under their banner. One towards the backside, though, could be an issue, but the flash is fantastic again. Excellent work between Ginny and Muffin to really secure this side of the map, but not without loss. A 3v2 is not impossible. I'm keeping my eyes towards Miyori. How much space can she get through Garage here? Is anyone really could be the first one forward? Waiting on that smoke to come back through. A couple of steps in. Could get the timing right, and now does get to slip ahead. Stunner! Couldn't follow up, though, an ALG Big start there.
Big start, decisive as well. The way that Muffin was just following through that garage control with that dart. And I gotta say that the Viper wall definitely made me a little nervous as they got into that C site, but that pause, the composure on the hit to wait for Ginny's flash to just clear that whole back site. So right away, ALG, beautiful start on this pistol, and you gotta love it when the team is all together like that, just completely defending the post plant.
And it makes me worry a little less after a really, probably quite devastating loss in that first series, right? You're not feeling warm, coming in with a nice start for themselves here. It's going to keep that confidence building up. For Giant X on the other side, though, I'm seeing at least a Sheriff out, but that's about it.
Yeah, and they've changed their wall immediately now, going for a little bit more of a deeper wall, want to get that long line. Information is the name of the game for Giant specifically, lacking that Cypher util, lacking even the Sova to give that mid-round info. So they want to make the attackers feel like at any point they might just scrim past that line and apply that sort of pressure. So, nice
60. He tries to play off the smoke, but overwhelmed. It was a gamble stack from Giant X, kind of playing behind that wall, and maybe that wall alone was enough that ALG went, I don't like what I'm seeing there, let's go for this A piece instead.
Yeah, you saw Miyori's turret there deep as well. I wish she would have waited for that turret to go off to peak, but you're right. With just a classic, it was already a very tall task, and clean up the eeks here. Get those eeks.
Absolute eco cobras. Let's see. Now, again, for Muffin, really great work towards the ult very early on, but down on 20 HP, don't want to see them going too far towards gathering the kills, but in the end of the day, Muffin does get another, so 2 away from the ult. This early on is lovely to have in that back pocket, maybe for that first gun round, I mean, potentially even towards the bonus.
Yeah, huge luxury for sure. Definitely just changes up the pace.
There they are.
In a clean round, it definitely feels bad when the defenders just walk away with only damage, but gotta carry away with whatever copium you can.
Let's go.
And they want to look to jiggle front B, and if they don't get spotted, I think ALG want to fully commit here on this bonus for this front B.
Shot done.
Fear and util nice and early. I like this. And you can see the setup that Miyori's going for, so none of it truly affected, just...
Yeah, ALG got caught on something. A communication came through. They didn't like what they saw. Maybe that deep smoke slowed them down a little bit, but fault line still in the back pocket of Ginny. There's going to be a lot of utility coming through here off the back of the information on this drone.
Yeah, waiting for the timing for this to go. ALG really patient, creeping a bit close towards middle. Could deal with that alarm bot.
Here.
And then see the reset off the back. Could now see that flex through towards garage. Wall goes up. And it looks like that owl drone is going to be the go up. About 55 seconds now. Wall down.
This pace is really nice from ALG. That front B sniff a little bit.
Oh, but Miyori still gets a kill. I'm incredibly surprised. The smoke was in place. There was no support by Sarah, but still Miyori gets one and gets away. This is now maybe stalling out ALG a little bit.
Yeah, that stall, the molly coming out from Sarah, that bait and switch, and look at Miyori. She slipped back into this exact position.
Hey, no owl drone to clear gets trickier and trickier.
30 seconds left.
You know, what are you meant to do with this? They're going to have to look to maybe pivot towards this B site. Just going to run themselves in towards it. Ness is there. Falls away, going to hit the flash, but no one there to work off the back bit. And already it's looking a little bit rough around the edges. ALG alive with just 2. This is going to be tough. Bonus round though. Nice angle for Ginny. Only one leaving the new stand in, the step in to try and deliver. Can't achieve it to make it out of the bonus alive for Giant X and the round in their hands.
I really liked the way ALG approached this round. You know, usually we do see a lot faster pace on the bonuses, but they really tried to work the map and misdirect and keep GX guessing the whole way through it. Unfortunately for ALG, I mean, GX, Miyori, that reposition back into that garage gave them the information that they have to defend that front B, so good reactions from the defenders. And ALG, for the first time this half, it looks like they're putting their eggs into the A main basket. They want to see what's going on towards this side of the map, see what kind of utility they're going to be dealing with.
Stun here. Coming in from Ness. Smurfette gonna have to deal with a little bit of utility her way. Does she get out of danger? Should be fine. It is Yoru, and away we go. Too much pressure, but it does play in Juliana. That's lovely. Little 1-2 punch, all eyes focused towards long, and the push up through sewer works really well.
Yeah, no trade in sight. That is gonna be devastating for ALG. Huge initiator utility off the table now. And with Ginny's fault line off, they've just got to pause. They've got to hope for some sort of pick. Hopefully Leyen can draw some sort of attention towards this front B, but look at all the information Miyori has as well. The defenders in GX, they feel in full control so far.
And I love seeing what kind of Ness is doing and Sarah's doing, that kind of back and forth check towards B, kind of maybe expecting someone's going to be trying to find that next step forward. And again, it is this pause that maybe causes a little bit of doubt, maybe an over-rotation. But again, if you look where Miyori is, sound cues alone would give away so much, and Julia is just holding this down so comfortable. One by one, they're coming up, and it's very, very easy. Now, the slip through towards B could cause an issue. This is the one that could maybe open up a chance. Suddenly, you're looking where the spike is. That's already made its way back around towards B. This late B hit, 25 seconds, a decent opportunity here.
Yeah, and Yusin still has blind as well. With most bodies all in this small choke point at A-Link, based off of what Leyen sees here on this retake, you can expect to see Yusin quickly respond and react.
Heading on over. Timing is everything. Two still dedicated towards side one, sitting a little bit deeper towards Cubby. ALG going to try and hold this against the odds, against the numbers here. Playing the first contact spot, beautiful, nice synergy together. Again, the utility is on point, but now the numbers more even, but Ginny isolates the one pushing back in from that C side. Now towards the other side of Connector. The crossfire's held perfectly.
And they were at a disadvantage the whole time. We talked about Shimi Lu, the ringer, coming in, getting just taken out. No trade in sight to be found. Giants handled that well perfectly, had full control, but the mid-rounding coming out from ALG, the fact that Leyen didn't have any fear, but actually took the space off the pick and went backside B, really helped out this post plant coming through here for ALG.
And I'm looking at the snowball effect here. You're starting to see those ults really hit for ALG. We have 3 ready to go right now as well. You've got Cyphers there, you've got the knives coming out from up, and you even have the Hunter's Fury on the other side a little bit further off, and the money now in a bad predicament. For Giant X, they need a bit of stability here. It feels like they were taking the correct first steps, but that was a stark reminder that mid-rounding is so imperative. So, Sheriffs and a Marshal, do they try and do something a little bit cheeky?
Yeah, I'd like to see Smurfette going for a more forward duel, a forward pick. You know, the desk talked about it. Smurfette had a little bit of a slower start on day one on that Jet and Neon. With that Yoru, with the flashes in her back pocket, she can really get up close and personal with this Viper wall and make some cheeky plays. So you can see all the defenders making the right read. The adjustments are coming through.
Does get scary.
Cover going out.
Even with just the pistols, there's so many players, and the right piece of utility played at the right time, but that wasn't it. And look at the information. Muffin, though, tunnel vision towards the player on the outline, and now Sarah and Ness with the punish. Miyori! Suddenly, there's a reminder of who they are. A Mastercard thrifty Giant X answer back.
Wow, and that was just based off information, right? And we talked about ALG having such good mid-rounding the round before. This round, unfortunately, they get caught picking the wrong site. GX already fully stacking towards there. And I wish I saw a little bit more utility coming out from ALG here to understand that, hey, we're going to have to over-util to get into the site here, but great shots coming out for GX. Those Sheriffs are so deadly, Lauren.
They always are. I mean, there's a reason we always kind of hold our breath every now and then we see it, especially when, you know, the site stacks in the right place. You're like, oh,
Camera taken out.
Especially with that Viper wall there, everything, you know, feels almost heaven sent at that point. But time to maybe find an answer back for yourself here. Miyori's the one who's going to be feeling the pressure. We do have the knives, I think, invested into as well for Muffin. And we're seeing a lot of those ults coming in, but can they isolate the player? I don't know if Muffin caught the glimpse. She certainly did, but it's a trade out. They lose out on Yusin, and now you're down to a 4v4, but they have site control. I lied! Sarah from God knows where just got impact coming out, and now you're down to the last 2. Any opportunities? I don't think so. That was a big investment of ults. You had the Hunter's Fury there and the knives. And only able to take down Miyori. May not be enough, but
wait a minute.
Evacuating the site. Now, is there a rifle to be recovered, perhaps? And maybe a bit of security here. I don't think they'll even hear that. I mean, they're definitely not hear the ult. There's the ult, so they know that at least Lynn is on that site. Rifle there now in hand.
This gives a lot of time for Shimilu to get this post plant. And maybe Leyen can reposition, but she feels like she has to protect.
Planted.
They weren't sure how much space there was, so that little bit of hesitation, which is fair, suddenly cost them a real chance. But again, for a late reposition towards Garage here, gonna need a freebie. Needs to be clean. Not clean enough. Zeta swift with it on the cross-through, leaving Shimilu in a really tough predicament. A 1v4, very unlikely, and Smurfette quick. So, as it stands, they make it past the threat. They played cool, they played calm, moved away from the site, played retake.
Yeah, and it comes down to that Viper Molly that was shocking. All of a sudden that Sarah came out. And that's the key thing about Vipers. It's not something we've seen very often this year on Haven.
Oh, it was on long, yeah.
And that's the danger, right? Is you've got those long-range Viper Mollies, and when you get spotted trying to make a rush happen, that Viper Molly lands. And so even though the Jet is in the site, they have no help.
Yeah.
No one else can get into the site. So one of the benefits, surely, of Viper coming through strong there for GX and ALG, they're going to have to tighten up their spacing here.
Spot on. Now, you're seeing the swings and roundabouts back in. The ults are firmly in place for GINX, and they are looking to maybe exploit that further. You just heard it. The Viper's Pit going down towards A, covering off sewers near on completely. And then the alarm bot to complement towards long. So this A site is very difficult to track towards.
ALG just pinged down deep into short A. I wonder if they are alerted that that is where the Viper ult is.
Right here.
Looks like they still want to commit. This is the weak side. This time they don't have their Cypher on the lurk at all.
This could be a nice ult here. They're probably going to be tasked with dealing with Sarah at some point. Slow and steady, but they've found a gap in this, right? Dodging their way through the owl drone could be huge. Sarah, you got to pick your poison. And actually wins the fight. That looked fully blind to my eye, but maybe from her perspective, there's more to be seen. Lockdown to try and make sure they can clear through.
Ginny's got the ultimate to be able to delay in this post. So for ALG, they feel okay with getting off the site, but they're running out of time.
There's no time.
Wait.
That was a misplay. I don't know what the plan was, but it was an absolute misplay, and now the problems are mounting. You're down to one. Ginny has to face the music and face the firing squad. GINX with probably the freest round they've had in a moment.
Yeah, that was some sort of breakdown in communication for ALG for sure. I think maybe
I don't know if it was misutil
some sort of
or
curveball.
something.
Yeah, maybe Ginny wanted to ult into spawn instead of into the site, but they all stayed into the site there at Graffiti.
Yeah, what was the plan to deal with that lockdown? I truly don't know. Yeah.
That's, you know, for ALG's side, for these last 3 rounds, especially with how Pistol went and that first bonus went, this is a huge tide turn. ALG, they've got to stabilize here because they've looked fantastic in the first 4 rounds.
I'm quite a little surprised there wasn't maybe a timeout there to check in.
Yeah.
3 in a row starts to feel quite oppressive, but maybe feeling they're still in a good enough position. We're going to start seeing those ults being invested, however.
Again.
Yeah, Smurfette, though, popping the ult as well. Miyori caught off guard, and ALG doing wonders here. Should be able to get a plant. Muffin turns that easy. Light work for Muffin. Smurfette sent back towards spawn. Juliana can't trade it, quickly gets out of danger. And this is so nice. I want to see more like this from ALG, clean in everything they do. Julina, Sarah, Ness, ults coming in. Now they got to try and capitalize on that ultimate, try and get towards the site. But really, ALG are opening no doors for them. Keeping that one tight as anything. No one's coming in.
Yeah, and I guess the coach heard the call, liked the call, approved of the call, and it works out beautifully. That change of pace coming through here for ALG, busting out one of their set pieces to get them into the site here. And for GX, they've seen that exact execute now twice. The first time around, that Viper Molly was such a huge impact utility coming through. This time, it really caught them off guard. The fact that Muffin was able to get into Garage with no info coming through for the defenders gave them a lot of room to work with.
Now, the next adjustment, and if yeah, you love to see that for Smurfette.
Wow,
taking away Muffin is a big scalp to claim as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were missing in the earlier start of this. Now with the operator in her hands, Smurfette feeling a lot more comfortable, looking for those forward duels. And Deja Vu, ALG have been in this position before. This time they've got extra utility in the back of Shimilu to allow and help these players get into the site, but Miyori, look at this setup. Fully not gonna allow to get past. Is she gonna stay on the site?
Waiting. So Util has been popped, but I mean, it got dealt with pretty nicely, so they're in on the site here. But look how close Giant X are. They could almost do a pre-take on this. They're trying to, but it was isolated. At one trade out. I don't know where Juliana was. I thought that was going to be spaced a little bit better, but no, ALG still have good presence on the site. No plant in play yet, though.
Here. Jumping the gun a little bit. Smurfette had the operator in heaven and couldn't jump out while the rest of her team flooded through. Now
30
3v3.
seconds left.
That drill should allow the spike to go down.
Sarah could be
Spike
vulnerable,
planted.
but fortunately for her, ALG didn't re-clear this, but now pointing out the first player towards Hell. Trade out Shimilu is looking so good in this. Yusin in unison, and now Smurfette in trouble. 9 bullets in a bit of a dream. Can't progress yet until that dart is dealt with, but takes down one, can't get the follow-up. ALG. All right, there's some stubbornness to this team.
Stubbornness for sure, and that's 2 4 versus 5s that ALG have been able to convert somehow, some way. This round with their duelist going down first, they're still able to get in, and you know, if we go back in time, I wish Miyori actually just stayed on the site while her mollies were delaying a bit. That smoke came on right in time, and all of her teammates were nearby. That disconnect with the flood was unfortunate for GX. And it was after the round that Smurfette found the opening kill as well. And that's one of the tough things, that gamble that you take when you put the op in, is your duelist can't be the space maker that you want on those retakes. So quickly having that presence of mind to switch weapons. Hey, give me your rifle. Quickly switch with your breach, or you can even switch with your Viper. So that you can get that flood going. That's something that GX are going to want to talk about for the rest of this half.
Yeah, and one C. You know, this is when you'd love to be a fly on the wall and hear what's being talked about here, but timeout coming in for Giant X. Maybe feeling that those last 2 rounds, I didn't like what they were seeing, don't like what they're feeling here. This has been a turn of events, though. ALG, this feels like a night and day performance. Maybe feeling that fire lit underneath them after the first series they had on stage. Maybe just getting a couple things in line. Maybe just whatever adjustments happen here is working for them. Giant X are looking behind the wheel now. In the last 2 rounds, they're the ones who now have to adjust back.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, ALG, that first map, their first match, it keeps replaying back in my mind that ISO on the server, having to adjust to that sound cue is something that they have talked about consistently over the last 24 hours. So coming into the Haven, once again, their second time picking this map in this tournament.
And I like what Giant X are trying to do, kind of propping up Smurfette, popping her down towards Sewer, taking space and then rotating away, right? There's safety in that position. She can stay there as long as she feels it's necessary. And it's also good information. No one's crossed, no one's pressuring, nothing's really happening. That should free up these rotations. So they've taken space pretty much on either side of the map, but ALG with a great approach right up the gut, straight through middle, and I like what Muffin's doing. It's a little brave, but it's working out. Look at the space again. All of this, even claiming a kill towards CT off the back of Yusin. This could be going better for them. This is now problems. How is Smurfette meant to play retake with an operator in this sort of position, especially when Miyori gets caught just lackadaisically walking through spawn? That was being watched the whole time. The 3 remaining players, I don't see the chances in this, but they're going to go for it. Still operator in play, hard to clear through this B side, and Yusin showing why. Already taking down her opposing number, but a 3v2, but look at Shimilu, already got the ult here. Sat back deeper, should be the way the buck stops pretty much. Shouldn't get past that. Smurfette picks up a rifle, but again, the time is ticking. Camera towards the spike as well, and just to ensure safety, just to make sure nothing happens to this spike, Hunter's Fury comes out, and this one's wrapped up with a bow on it. ALG are running this game.
Completely controlling the pace. Beautiful calling once again here for ALG. And if I'm GX, I'm okay with that route, Lauren. These B retakes are pretty tough, but they actually were able to burn out Shimilu's Hunter's Fury there at the end, even though that was almost a guaranteed round. So if you're GX, at least you're walking away with that small W. You still have 2 rounds left in the half, and you actually at least are able to hold on to Smurfette's operator coming into round 11. So we'll see if she actually is able to find an opening pick, but it looks like she's going towards that long C. So, but they have switched it up. Viper is now their A anchor.
And again, this mid attention from ALG. Muffin, leg shown, careful now. Julina got to be cautious too. Taking their time here. Patience being shown, maybe a tell or 2, but Muffin just claimed Miyori. That feels like that was out of nowhere. Look at where she died.
Off angle with the operator.
they haven't checked on anyone pushed down this deep. I mean, I feel like they're going to drift in, they do. So that's another big impact kill here. Going to make it very hard to take towards these sites without your Sova, without your Jet. You're running on fumes. This is very hard now. But we've seen the pauses from ALG that have got them some really big impact after.
Omen blind off the table. That communication should be coming through here for ALG, and now they're choosing to group. If they were able to take care of this alarm bot a little bit earlier, that definitely would have helped them out.
And look at the counter stun coming in, allowing Smurfette to clear through. She's getting played in this round just right. Gets to fall away, doesn't need to outstay here. Miyori can catch the cross, relay that over to her. All the information is there. This is very controlled. This will need an outplay and overdo almost. TP all the way to the A site. Now, Smurfette really locked in though, drilled in on that, not gonna let Ginny get that freedom to maybe catch those rotations. Yusin's, I mean, her troubles are only beginning. A 1v5. Full kit to play with though. Show me what you got, Yusin. Maybe you can do some damage here, keep the morale low, not gonna happen. 5 standing for Giant X, a much better round in their minds.
Yeah, and a good spread as well. I love the, as soon as Smurfette heard the information come across from her team that they were poking and sniffing towards that garage, you saw Smurfette take the line an inch forward, go a little bit deeper, and that sort of control allows the rest of your teammates to hold their ground, and so much information coming across for GX.
We have another timeout. Wait and see whose it is. Okay. So ALG wanted to check in here. Again, a very competitive half. And I'm quite surprised considering the first results these teams both had. It didn't look great, I'm going to be honest. You know, they had some real shaky starts, especially for ALG. Didn't quite find their footing, but now this looks much better. Some of those set pieces, those site takes look gorgeous. We've just seen, you know, Smurfette now having a round. We're starting to see this one heat up a bit.
Yeah, and I feel for the coach on the ALG side. You know, this sort of timeout is always the toughest to call when you only have 1 round left in the half, but you know that 1 round from a 6-6 half to a 7-5 half is a world of a difference. So ALG wanting to bust out their best strategy that they have available.
That's tricky.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go back into that set opening like pistol. You know, we saw them do it, I believe it was in the 8th round, once again on a C split, but they've been putting so much pressure towards that garage B that they can do a really easy fake coming into this round with a little bit of misdirection. And A site, that round when Yusin went with the Omen ult, it was completely empty. So I think with a little bit slight misdirection, but their end goal will always be A site, would be a fantastic round for ALG.
That would be nice because they've been conditioned to expect that maybe as a lean-to of a set piece if they're struggling with something. But let's see what they opt for here. They do have to deal with Smurfette's ult if that does come into play, which I imagine it will do at some point. TP as well for the Omen, not so much of a bother, but as it stands, at least they can get a decent purchase beside themselves, but no big impactful ult to start off with. And it looks like just a creep towards A, and look who's waiting, Smurfette in the sewers. It's all about timing now. Smoke is still there. And she's been sharp. Last couple of rounds, she's had impact. A missed shot.
Careful here.
Now suddenly look at the rotation from Giant X. You just saw it on the X-ray there. 3, 4 players all heading through. Smurfette pops the ult for big info. Spots enough, right? This should be enough to be very telling. Do they continue to commit? There's still about a minute here. They've got site control. Spike is there. And Leia just found Miyori.
On the lurk at front B as well, and for GX, they've wasted so much utility already. Cypher ult gonna give a lot of information for ALG.
They gotta go, Smurfette leading the charge here. Takes away Muffin, can't get the follow-up, the spacing nice. ALG now looking to swing. Julia already clearing house, down to just 1. And Leon was noticed earlier, but she's on the site already. Great first fight, needs another. Can she find it? Can she clutch? Oh, so close! And Giant X at the final moment here can be able to close up this score at 6 apiece.
Ice in her veins. I thought for sure that Ginny had the line there to be able to win that one out, but Jolina cleaning up house and able to actually get the 6th on the board for the side of GX there.
This has been a really explosive first half. Wonderful to see both sides picking up a little bit here. And hopefully that bleeds through into the second at this 6-6 scoreline. And luckily we have a bit of a treat for you guys at home. So while we wait for the second half, we're going to be joined by Yinzu with one of our favorite co-streamers on site. So don't go anywhere, you want to hear this.
We have a lot of amazing personalities here in Berlin, so I thought we'd do a little bit of a check-in, you know, with Leviathan here from Giant X. Now, first of all, I saw you in Korea, I've seen you in Madrid, you're traveling all over the world for VCT, but I know this is your first ever time being on site for Game Changers Champ. So tell me how you're feeling, are you enjoying the event, and how does this compare to some of the other events you've been to before?
Well, it's really different to stay on a Game Changers Champions. It's my first time, as you said, and it's really nice because I love see the girls playing, and my team is here, so it's like a dream.
Speaking of the girls playing, I know she's not playing right now, but you have played with Toki before. So how nice is it to see her on this big stage as well?
Well, it's the first Spanish player in Game Changers staying in a championships. So I'm really glad for her, and I hope she wins, and I hope the best for her.
She will be playing, I think, tomorrow. Now, back to Giant X. I know you're a Killjoy main, you know your stuff. So what's it like to watch Miyori? What do you think about her Killjoy on that map?
Well, Miyori is the best Killjoy I ever seen, so I hope she winning. I would like to be a little bit of her Killjoy.
Wow, all right, you're so real for that. You're so real for that. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great co-stream. Make sure you check her out as well. And let's just hop back into the map and see if GX can bring it home.
We have here, can they bring it home, or does ALG have that fire beneath them? As said, on that attacking side, they looked quite clear-cut, structured. They had a goal in mind and they executed it very well. Great impact on the lurks. Now with the sides flipped, are you expected to see them be proactive potentially and kind of continue that approach, or do you think we're going to see a more just standard start out here to the first map of Haven?
That's the key question, Lauren. ALG can't afford to play standard going into the second half. With the Viper on the other side, you see the Viper line coming through here in mid. It cuts off the entire line of the A main. So generally, the Sovas, they have so much information with just their util, but depending on how much pressure Sarah puts, Muffin has got to get active on this defense half.
Yeah, there's layers to this. Like an onion. You ever watch Shrek? Movie?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
So quiet. Perfect. For now, though, it's a very patient start, very tense from both sides. You can see that directly Giant X are opting for that B side. They've made good progress here, but whether they can commit towards it or not, it looks like they are. They've cleared backside. Smoke up towards that C connector. Spike is there.
Yeah, and look at the defenders from ALG. All three members still towards A, not knowing exactly how many bodies from GX is towards this front B.
I was wondering if they were going to go for a straight-on flood, and they are, and it's not going to plan. That's actually getting a little bit dangerous, but Lane goes down. I thought she might be able to get a little bit more impact on that one. They were down so low. They were left so broken and bruised, but they still stand. Sarah and Smurfette still alive. Keep the numbers so favorable for Giant X. This gets so hard now for ALG in the last two players.
Smurfette's doing such a good job not allowing any sort of equalizers to come through, just staying tucked and playing the long con.
Yeah, the timing on that is going to be, it feels like the be-all and end-all, doesn't it? The second that going to hear the drop down towards Garage there. So that's a known target, so we're already going to path towards this one, Smurfette. Yeah, that's beautifully handled. Muffin, this is really tough. Yes, you could argue that Smurfette's a little bit lower, Sarah is down a little bit low, but Muffin's gonna give it a damn good go. But this is tough. This is tough to witness. And yeah, just being toyed with. And there it is. Giant X gonna pick up the pistol here. And how did we feel about that flood through that C connector? Because it worked out for them. It felt a little risky there because, I mean, 1 or 2 shots hitting the other way around, that could have gone towards ALG's favor.
Yeah, it definitely could have, but for ALG, they've got to talk a little bit faster about keeping Muffin a lot more mobile. I think going sniffing deeper into the A main should help out. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got to be able to have the fighters and pick the right site at the right time. Of course, that's easier said than done when the Viper is on the other side.
All right, danger player is going to be Muffin. The rest are on classics. So if she can get the ball rolling, it would be a dream come true for ALG. For Giant X, you want to see 5 standing. The most they're willing to lose here will be 2. Miyori and maybe Sarah, considering they're the only one with ghosts. But I do see Guardians, and Shimilu does at least get Smurfette. So they're going to tighten this one up. Houston are going to make this a little bit more costly. They should be able to collect the rifle that got dropped on long, but these 3 can't afford to go down here.
Yeah, they've got to keep this nice and clean. Even choose who's going to get the spike. Looks like it's going to go on the back of Ness. Get her 1 ult orb closer to that Rolling Thunder.
Okay, 2 smokes and a ghost. I mean, quite tricky. He's got to hit a shot. Yeah, not gonna be working out that time. Giant X gonna lose what they were willing to lose, which is Miyori and I guess Smurfette in that situation, but they keep the 3 bulk weapons they came in with, Guardian, 2 Bulldog. So this bonus now has a little bit more bite to it. On the other side, this is going to be a big round for them. I feel like they've got to answer back.
They have to, because having a Viper in your back pocket for GX, that makes this bonus that much more dangerous. On the pistol, we saw Sarah take that duel down towards the short A and found herself looking at 3 defenders. So you can see all the members of GX very much grouped. They want to go behind this Viper wall and have some sort of pounce factor. 1-3-1 setup here for ALG. It's just a solo Sova.
Yeah, and look how much space they're getting off this utility. Instantly going to be forcing away Shimilu. There's not much more she can do about that. Has to try and hold the ground as best she can with what feels like near on a blindfold. That's a little bit of a look. Presence being shown here, but the spike's unmoving. It's still taking its time. I think they're just trying to draw out that very limited utility, that precious utility, and I like that they're just kind of taking the tour of the map, showing presence elsewhere.
Look at that dart that the defender Sova just threw here towards long A. That's an indicator that they are lacking info. No idea if the attackers are very close or very far, and what a shot from Miyori.
Yeah, prying that side open, but Yusin is still here. The paranoia can go through. She is nearsighted herself, but again, you're looking at the support system. A little bit of a fumble on that, but Yusin still standing tall. Maybe she can follow up. She can! Immaculate impact already. Finally finding more. She is just a turret on the site herself. An ace would need 1 more, but she's only got 8 HP. Sarah has to walk into the lion's den, and Yusin is there, keeping hope alive for ALG.
Impressive movements coming out here from Yusin, and I love that 3rd kill as well. That nice little sidestep to just dodge those bullets. Some matrix action coming out here from Yusin, and that's beautiful because, you know, they kind of failed their B retake earlier on, so this time around they had their weaponry, they had their defenders in the right place, and a great response coming through here for ALG. And I like the look from GX. They're playing a mental warfare, mind games across the board, not letting ALG know where they want to end.
Ooh, pacey, Muffin. Oh, the paranoia was heaven sent. Muffin set up for success and keeps going. I feel like you could fall away from this, but maybe they feel they've got a shot at some more, and actually is laying to swing around on this. This pace change was out of nowhere.
ALG getting all the reads, did not want to give GX this orb for Ness, and Shimilu winning out that 1v1. If Sarah got that pick, you see there, Sova is all soloed towards this A.
Yeah.
Would have gotten the spike down, so huge anchor moves coming out here. And for GX, they got to reset. The orb, though, I think is still up. Yeah, it's still up, so Ness can choose to maybe grab it or just wait to plant. They'll have the Rolling Thunder for the post here. But look at the way ALG are playing. They are so far back, all the way in spawn.
You talk about like hot and cold, right?
Yeah.
Start around, they are down C-long, and they push even further, right? That is high tempo, super volatile, love it. It was well crafted, good paranoia to it, everything there. And now, you're in the freezing cold, right? They're literally sat in spawn, holding the furthest back extremities, taking no risks. Miyori trying to be the one to be proactive. She has to find impact here. You don't win a 2v4 by, you know, playing it perfectly. You need almost a mistake, and that's rotten luck here. Already going to be noted. Oh, going to come in. Hold on, they're fully committing on this one. Miyori head first for Halos, and it might just pay off. 2 is all she could get. A valiant attempt, but they stand tall. ALG, more of that, please.
Wow, valiant effort for sure. A little ambitious, but man, I wonder if Miyori didn't have that Cypher cam stuck in her. Maybe she gets away with a 3rd, but good effort, and man, ALG, the calling right now on the defense, the fact that they did push out that long C as Ness was one off the orb, just being one step ahead of the attacker's game plan.
I love
taking the fight to them.
I just love disruptive play like that. You throw that in once every X amount of rounds, then they have to burn utility a little more early. Then the map suddenly feels so less free to make these moves around. It just completely changes the dynamic of it. But you can see what it's done to the money as well for Giant X. They were coming in with Outlaws in that previous round. Now they're back in with Guardians, Bulldogs, Light Shields. They got the TP, sure, but beyond that, one away from the lockdown. Smurfette, 2 off from her, so nothing to bank on here. Paranoia primed in a little trap set, it looks like, but that Paranoia I don't think got it, but the stun certainly did. And they're just getting more aggressive. They're just layering in this hurt here. Smurfette wants vengeance. She gets it. Good trade, and now the brawl begins. Muffin now out for blood, doesn't get what she wants, and Smurfette kicks it up a gear herself. Shimilu now the last one alive and a mile away. This is going to be a very long road back in, but that was almost felt a needless brawl at times.
Needless, that's the key word for sure. Definitely forced coming out here for ALG, and maybe in their scrims it went a lot better than what we just witnessed, but for sure Leyen had every opportunity to walk away. I love their opening, right? They
The start was great.
Away
I'd love to see them to back away there.
Yes.
That's all you needed, but maybe that last round gave them that almost overconfidence.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just keep pushing it, keep pushing it. Yeah, a little unfortunate. I'd love to see that tempered a second earlier.
Would have been beautiful to see, but hey, if they got those kills, we'd be sat here talking
Singing
about
their praises?
how amazing it was. So definitely couldn't see the motion, or the vision rather, of why they would do that, but
just a hindsight Harry over here. What can I say? You know, it goes
Muffin,
good.
The timing in which Muffin found herself on that flank, that fast pinch, the vision was definitely there, but Smurfette handling it so well, double kill, and now with the Yoru ult on the table, she's going to be able to find out exactly what site is free, and maybe they can even use Miyori's ult in the post instead, so.
A couple of ults now, kicking in. Outlaw for Muffin. How many have light shields? Only 2, I think? Yeah, that's it. So, a little bit trickier, but have the knives. And yeah, switching. You can see the hesitation on it. Like, Guardian, maybe Outlaw, not sure. Looking like a C hit coming out for Giant X, though. There's the ult coming straight through from Smurfette, right up through the B site. Bringing out the player. Anything to couple with this? What's the plan now, Smurfette? There's the stun, there is the jump out. Oh, and there's the punish. Leyen making up for that last round now. Standing her ground, keeping control of that C site. Nice try, not this round, and gets a follow-up on Miyori. Doubling down on finding impact here.
The fault line, a little bit missing the mark there. Unfortunate for Smurfette.
Toxins going up.
She did have a flash in her back pocket, but maybe getting a little bit overzealous. And both defenders are still on A site for ALG. If GX are able to really draw down the clock and buy Sarah some time to cook, maybe there's a chance, but that should help things. Now maybe Sarah, she's got to make a choice. Now she has to decide whether she wants to regroup with her team or keep up her lurk.
Yeah, it's so tricky, isn't it? It feels like, you know, Sophie's choice. There is no good way. And backpedaling, Shimilu already checked from Sewer, but Jelena is holding this one together, but takes a little bit of time to do so, but that's fine. You take that. Plant's going to come in. Still has ult, still has Paranoia, has another smoke. You got Ness by your side, but you are up against 3 with full util near on, excluding that owl drone. Dart is there. Everything is there. So proactive is the name of the game, trying to play ahead of it and get swept aside. The retake is on the money. Muffin to round it out. We're tied up all even.
Wow, ALG handling this round so well, and that was off the back of Smurfette insta-Yoru ulting to go front B there, and I thought that was enough information. The fact that she saw that Omen and Cypher immediately towards that C site, finding those agents, you can really visualize with that process of elimination exactly what the defense setup is. But again, it came down to the utility. It was off the mark.
Yeah, just the miss on the stun. It could have been such a different round there. Totally different. No timeouts here. I love Coach Cam. Never get rid of Coach Cam. Yeah. Best thing. Now the money starting to look really nice, at least for ALG. Starting to build up a little bit. They've got some ults to depend on the other side. They'll rough around the edges. A little bit of a half buy here, keeping the money trying within touching distance and straight up towards B. Leaving Sarah try and posture over towards A, but the plant's going to be coming in. You're hearing the Hunter's Fury as well. That's a lot of targets and a really lovely angle to play through. ALG dropping the bodies. But this is a tough round. This was a half buy, but they get an upgrade on at least one. Julina now has the upgrade to the rifle. A pivot through towards that C site. Paranoid goes in, finds no target, so that's fine. But a body spotted. Yusin, light work on Ness, just swats her away. And now down to 2. Plant is in, but what are you meant to do to defend it now? You already have Muffin hightailing it through. Yusin's right there. This is an aggressive side, ALG. And Sarah, okay, good start. 2 more, at least on site, and 1 to the left on towards long. No tag and no frag for now. Yeah, not gonna happen. ALG taking the lead.
What a round, and the whole time, ALG always had that Sova on that quick flank as well. So this retake had every layer that they needed to be able to convert. But the defenses from ALG, they're not doing anything that special. So far, it's been pretty standard. And I talked about in the beginning of the round, they have to be proactive. They have to go find out the information. So moving forward into round 21, I'd like to see GX slow things down, really take advantage of having the Viper in this composition, and go back to what they did in the beginning of this half, which was throw out those misdirections and let Sarah work.
Yeah, puts a little bit more pressure, I guess, on Sarah to then step up a touch. But I mean, it's Sarah. She should be fine. I wouldn't be surprised if she actually comes alive a little bit more if she allows that, timing to be played into.
She doesn't even need a kill, though.
True. Just presence alone.
She doesn't even need a kill. She just needs to give the information to her team and, hey, is there a defender on A site or not? And let your IGL or your mid-rounder make the choice of where you want to end. But so far, it's been pretty straightforward for ALG, and ALG are just better.
Which is wild, right?
Right.
Like, our predictions are going to be in the bin today.
They are in.
We could have some upsets, and I'm happy for it, because I think looking at that first series for both of these sides, it was a little bit more, I guess within touching distance for Giant X to lose how they did. It was a really hard game for ALG. They looked just kind of blown out of the water by Falcon, so I think a lot of us went, not sure how they're going to fare against someone like Giant X, who is a little bit more of a household name. But coming into today, the vast majority of the gun rounds, even in this second half, have been ALGs. So they absolutely see why Giant X have slowed things down here, pumped the brakes. They've got a couple of big ults to bring into effect that lockdown in pocket for Miyori, and it looks like a very simplistic approach towards that A site for now. It's going to be a brawl, you know it is. Muffin on a knife's edge here, leans a little closer forward, and already Giant X steamrolling through. Ginny is still here. They've got to know someone's still around. The flash, it's not going to affect the player she wanted, but she's still alive. How's she gotten away with it? How is she alive? Ginny, get out of here, Ginny! She shouldn't have been alive, and she's still firing. Brings this back to maybe a realm of possibility for Layan, but this is difficult, this is tough. Tries to isolate more, can't happen. Giant X answer back in.
And this round was pretty much decided 5 seconds after those barriers went down, Lauren. It was fast-paced, and I think if Muffin actually didn't drop that jet smoke, maybe they would have been able to see those players stunned off of the utility on Ginny, but fortunately for GX, they chose correct. Off the rip, completely dominating this A main.
Let's go.
And they want to go again. Starting the round again towards this A main. I love the fact that they switched it up. Now they're sending Sarah towards that C, and the bodies, the fighters, are trying to control this A main. The money is broken for ALG here.
Trying to be frugal in their purchase. The Muffin is so close by. Are they even aware of this? Yusin's going to find Smurfette. Muffin unleashes Fury, but only finds one. But this is still damage done and a player advantage for ALG very early into the round. They can slip back here, sit a little deeper. Now Giant X have to try and approach this without Smurfette. No Miyori either. It'll be tricky for them now to approach either of these sites that they fancy going towards.
Ginny's still got that breach ultimate in her back pocket.
Shadows traveling.
1 full minute left to go. Just saw the shoulder.
Oh, the ult on top as well. Hold on, but you can see the spikes on the way out here. Layan just going to lean on forward. Sarah with a quick clear. Now suddenly LG in trouble. Ness going to take down Yusin. This is going from bad to worse as Ginny forced away. And Giant X regaining composure by every second that passes.
Some miscomms coming through, unfortunately, for ALG. Now Ness, man advantage and weaponry.
Darts there. This has got to be the go-up. And away we go. First in towards Logs. You can see the players here. Giant X aren't letting this one go now. Digging their heels in. Reticent to let this go, and they won't. Ness, good work there, but there was composure in the chaos for a moment for ALG, then it went too far. Then it fell into kind of pandemonium almost.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what the comm was or why Ginny thought that she had to send it towards B, that breach ult, but man, it would have been so great if it did go and hit the mark towards that garage C site. So unfortunate for ALG, they had that round that could have completely swung it. But fortunately for them, they get to catch their breath here. Nice. They also get to take a second look at their money, and that was his eco round. That was an eco round. They made it competitive. Going into this one now, they should be able to get that operator on the back of their jet. And 2 rounds ago, we saw an incredible push coming out from ALG to completely change the tide. So we'll see if that's what they're cooking up in this pause, but unfortunate for ALG there. Man, for Ginny.
Yeah. I also got to say, both OMENs absolutely going nuts. Yeah, 22 for Houston, and then for Jelena, 23. Damn. It's kind of wild.
You love OMEN ults on Haven as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so many cheeky, fast plays that you can do, especially because the defenders love to fight forward. So sending that OMEN ult randomly in Hell, randomly in Spawn, and just do a quick A-split. So fun to do.
Yeah, 2 rounds back-to-back now for Giant X, getting themselves in the lead here at 11-10. ALG, though, timeout is now. They still have a purchase in hand here, so Operator looking like it's coming out to play.
That goes there.
Looks like Muffin wants to hold the fort down at C. We'll see if she decides to push it later on. They've sent their Sentinel towards this A side. This tells me that Shimilu wants to be mobile. She wants to leave this A site in the mid round, and they just want to leave Saiyan on this site on her devices. But as I say that, it's a short A push.
I mean, maybe with the lockdown, she can get a quick flank potentially if she fancies it, but you can see the setup here. They're very aware of this. I don't know if they're biting on this B take just yet. Real patience, and Giant X now starting to close in. Quick TP for Jelena. Gonna have to abort the mission though, has to get out of dodge. So a nice little pause here to offset the timing. Smoke's gonna go back in, and Jelena going back in for that second attempt at the plant. So nothing this time should stop it. I'm looking at the tempo of this retake, however, as Jelena already gonna evacuate the site and get back to safety.
This
very
duel
passive
between
setup.
Cypher and Viper is gonna be everything for ALG. Saiyan being so patient.
This dart has to be valuable, though. There has to be value to this. Now the pressure on the backlines. Nice timing on this. Gonna draw the attention away, but Smurfette unfazed by it. Neither is Sarah. Giant X still holding down the site. Only Muffin to answer back down middle. Jelena still standing. That, if it was double, could have been something, but Ginny now denied. There is no chance on this. The one-way in play, the Viper utility, the post plants are dirty to play against. You can't get away from that.
You can't. They almost did that double.
It was a try.
That was so close. But what a round for GX, and it was a decent response for ALG. That delay in getting that spike down, I thought that would fluster GX a little bit, but they handle it so well. Composed, Jolena just hopping right back in. A beautiful post. Love the KJ mollies coming out here from Miyori as well, keeping the defenders at bay and not allowing any sort of flood to come through. And ALG, they've swapped it up again, sending Layan away from A. That's an early smoke. Gonna cut off that jump spot, the long line. Ooh. Oh, that is punishing. Layan tries to get a jump spot off anyway, but
that could be the start of the end, really, at this point. That C site now. Red carpet rolled out. They're on the way in. Plants there, and we've already talked about the post plants. And you've got to now add in Ness's ult to this as well. It's really uphill.
Welcome to my
ALG.
world.
Oh, and the Viper's pit. I didn't even see that one too. Oh
feels
man.
like a checkmate here.
Does, doesn't it? But show us something miraculous. Show us something to make us believe. The Bucky is still in play. Quick little turnaround, and Sarah denies the first one forward. Ult in play as well, and Sarah gets hungry for more. Does control the spray in the end, and Muffin falls. This might be a Real end of things as Ginny and Yusin, that's 4 more players to try and get past. Such an uphill struggle. The one-way's back in. Welcome back to the last round you're in. And Miyori wants this one sealed, signed and delivered. Giant X pull it back in from the brink at a 13-10 victory.
What a read coming through in this last round. And I feel for ALG, they did the best they could, but this
Absolutely.
Viper coming through, and as soon as that half changed and GX were on the attack, the mind games that they brought out early on, you saw that the defenders, they never felt too comfortable being mobile. Even in that last round, Muffin was all the way in A site until the last second.
Couple things they have to tighten up if they want a chance here, but 13-10 is respectable, but Ascent is next. Don't go anywhere.
So, you want to work in esports?
Great. Step 1, never spell it like that. Better.
Step 2, apply to the Mastercard Gamer Academy, a program created in partnership with G2 designed to give you all the tools and resources needed to help you start a career in esports.
This is an education in everything, from creating content to managing a team.
All from experts who will explain every aspect of running a top-tier org, prepping for a broadcast, or designing global esports events for millions of fans.
Selected participants will have access to live lectures and insights you won't find anywhere else.
And even the opportunity to travel to the League of Legends Mid-Season Invitational and Valorant Champions.
So they're flying them out to champs?
Yep.
Thank you,
Mastercard. So if you've ever dreamed of a life working in esports, this could be your opportunity to apply for an unforgettable experience.
Can anyone apply?
No, you can't apply.
Red Bull gives you wings.
And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good, good.